Hello and welcome back to the Wayward Lobster Tavern in the harbour, scene of the level 2 edition of the Battles of Brother Purple. Plenty to share in this one, not least of which the stuff I've begun to learn about the monk. So where to begin? Yes, this business about the key bar. I have learned that the default number of key, like the 0 level, goes off the concentration skill, and that's why that skill is so important. And yes, believe it or not, I undertook this life without knowing that. So that's a good piece of info to know. So it's between concentration and wisdom, I think, for the key bar. I think the maximum value is dictated by your wisdom, and I think the monk level as well. But it's the concentration that dictates the sort of sitting level of key, if you will, and the regeneration or negative amounts during the quests. I'm pretty sure it's that. So that's one thing we've learned. So a concentration item, which is not something I've ever really bothered with in the past. Something to look out for on our travels. Another thing I should mention, which you might have seen already, you can't really see it in the tavern. In fact, I've messed up, haven't I? You can't see it because by default he has the cosmetic on, doesn't he? Now, if you look there, we've actually got lucky this life. Let's go outside and show you properly. This is the robe he wears at the start of each new life, the fearsome robe of invulnerability, and it just so happens it's got this really nice purple feature to it, so it fits very well. In fact, I think we'll stay out here. It's a bit nicer out in the sunshine. We'll sit here, overlooking the tables. So yes, definitely sticking with the robes this life, not the cosmetic armor. And I just happened to notice that there's a purple thing there, so I quite like that. Gear for level 2, it's just the usual stuff. So if you've seen any of the past series, you'll know we've got a true seeing there. Now, true seeing is going to come in extra handy on this build because it's also going to allow us to hit through things that are displaced or blurred, as I understand it, which on a caster you just don't have that issue. But nice as well for the secret door detection potential, and we've got our master's gift on there for a bit more XP. Helmet is close to useless. I would happily swap it for anything else. It's just a standard caster helmet I wear. A couple of con on the necklace. The charisma obviously is a relic of his warlock days, or Fool's as my main character's warlock days. So pretty useless to us. 1 point of UMD, I guess. That's quite nice on our build, the 2 dodge. So that should take us up another couple. Yeah, we're up to 11 now, so not bad at all for a low level character. We are so high, remember, because we had the dodge and mobility feats at level 1. Level 2 feat was the two-handed fighting, so straight away 80% strike through chance. So we're now very likely to hit 2 in front of us, and I've been noticing that all the time in the quests. Really good. Belt con is irrelevant because we've got it on the necklace, just 5 extra hit points there. Hit points we've gone up from a lowly 60 odd to 92, so that's not too terrible anymore. Radiance Law irrelevant. Sheltering is quite nice for PRR and MRR, which is not very good at the moment, as you can see. 24 and 15 as we're wearing robes. Kept the level 1 gloves on for the the enchantments they've got, the mythic boost for melee power, Reaper enchantment. Kept those boots on for the same reason. They've got boosting PRR and MRR, and a nice little clickable anyway for the run speed. I'm sounding like a stuck record here. Kept the ring on for the same reason, extra ranged power. That's a new item. Resistance bonus for saves, fortification against critical hits. All the more important as we're on a melee now, so we're surrounded by things that can potentially crit us all the time. The cloak, as you've seen, is the same, and the glasses we've done. Now, this is a nice improvement. Ethereal quarterstaff from the Borderlands vendor, Ghost Touch for the Reapers, and I put a little Ruby of Shock there for a little extra electric damage that I just happen to have in storage. What was I going to say? No, I think that's it for the... Oh yes, we've got a Muck Bane to swap to, just in case an ooze pops up. Because we don't want our weapon wrecking. So far at least, the weapon, obviously, as you can see there, it's taken some damage. I keep hearing this about weapons breaking and all that kind of thing. That's not something I want to be going into too often. So we've got a plan for level 3 to get around that, and I will show you when the time comes. It's something one of you has very kindly shared with me in the comments, and I think that's going to stand us in good stead for the breaking of the weapons. So what else do we have for this level? Evasion. I'd completely forgotten that the monk gets evasion at level 2. Once upon a time, I'm sure my main character did dip 2 levels into monk just for a couple of bonus feats and the evasion on some kind of multi-class build. So that's awesome to have. Our reflex save isn't too shabby because we did take some dex at the start, so I would expect that to start bearing fruit straight away, which is lovely. The healing hand thing is very nice, especially when a Reaper pops up, although I did something really silly. I went into the Borderlands, and for reasons best known to myself, I started it on Reaper, especially the Temple of Evil Chaos. That's a level 2 quest anyway, so 4 on Reaper. And needless to say, it didn't go well. Twice I went in, met a Reaper within 10 seconds and died. So I hit the Dragon Breath cookie both times, but it wasn't enough. It didn't quite kill the Reaper. So yeah, not good times. So I did the rest of the borders on Elite, no problems at all. The staff is doing, nice, hitting a couple of targets usually, decent damage. It's hitting for sort of in the teens every time. I'm very pleased to say I've managed to work out this finishing move business, or at least to a limited degree. I've set the fire one, not because I think it's necessarily the best one, but it's the most obvious one to show in the quests. So basically, you have to do it within a reasonably short time frame, and you hit 3 times with the standard fire attack, which just basically gives an extra little bit of fire damage to the hit, and then this this icon changes to the fire, like this one here, the fireball thing, and then if you're quick enough to trigger it, there's a little fire AoE, a bit like a sort of a mini version of the Dragon Breath, if you will, that does it's only doing for like low teens damage, if that, but it's just it's more for flavour, I suppose, than anything else at the moment. It scales up with monk levels, I think, but I just wanted to share that to show that I've learned something, because I was quite pleased with that. So I'm keeping it on the bar, and we're going to try and make use of it in the quest to come. I did notice as well that all of the little, the fire, earth, air, and water. They're on separate cooldowns, so you can go swinging away with all four if you want to, but that very quickly drains the key bar for not too much extra gain that I can see. So I didn't bother pursuing that. We're going to stick with this one, and it's nice to note that I think all the damage relating to these key attacks scales with melee power, so you don't have to mess about adding spell power as we did for the Eldritch Knight. We had to have, I think, was it spell power for our imbue we had to have. I'm pretty sure the imbue on this build, the Light the Candle, goes with melee power. Yes, so very nice to know. Although we won't have too much melee power until going into the epics, I guess. Speaking of epic, I'll get this one out there sharpish, because some of you had some nice ideas for the Eldritch Knight weapon. Unless I hear any different, I'll go with a Borderlands quarterstaff. Put a bit of sentience into that when we reach epic. If one of you has a suggestion for a nice level 20 quarterstaff that could prove better than a Borderlands one, or more flavourful, just let me know, and I'll see if I can acquire it in time for the epic. Yes, these cookies I've been experimenting with. They're a really nice help in times of distress at lower levels. Like if you are, especially if you're on a single target build and you get set upon by a big group. You've already seen the the Dragon Breath one. The Blade Barrier is similar, just kite things through and they just start dropping like stones. I would imagine the Shard Storm as well is pretty good for that. And also, we have two here that deal with blinding nearby enemies. So we're going to test those out during the quest to come as well, because we're expecting several instances with big groups of things. I've run out of the owlbear cookies, so big thanks to all for those. Those were, if you remember, were the 1 minute charge of strength based, strength plus 4, isn't it, that you get. I think we can probably replace that with this now. That looks a very nice buff. Plus 2 profane on attack and damage, PRR as well. So we'll put that in at the start next to our blur. The blur one has been very useful, the blue Abishai. Totally recommend that to anybody doing low levels before you get your blurry item on. Especially as a melee, again in the thick of it, and an extra layer of defense won't hurt. What else have we got? Yes, I already mentioned the ignominious defeats to the Reapers. Yeah, I've mentioned the special attacks. The Shuriken, I did try the Shuriken against the fleeing mage in the Borderlands. You might recall, if you saw the last series, where I managed to shoot him with my little dart thing that I carry. Well, unfortunately for us, I don't know if it's because these starter Shuriken are just not very good, but we really were not doing very much at all, and he managed to, as far as I can tell, he just disappears after he gets a certain distance away from you. So we were foiled there in our attempt to get the kill. So again, if any of you know of a low level shuriken that drops in a quest or a quest chain that it would be nice for us to acquire, speak now in the comments and I'll see what I can do about finding it. Not least of which because I've gone a little bit overboard here. Abba's gonna freak at this. all this shurikenage in the inventory. I'd like to get rid of that and just replace it with one returning one. So I'll be on the lookout in quest rewards. Speaking of which, I've just this minute changed our game options to have quest rewards based on class. I didn't have that selected, unfortunately. So maybe now we'll get some more relevant stuff thrown our way. Had an interesting one in the Kobolds one, the Kobold lair in the Borderlands. Um, in a change to the usual procedure where I go falling down the pit, several of them actually fell down the pit and I jumped over it. And I was smugly going on towards the end of the quest when I realised the Kill the Kobold tribe was still not completed, and I thought, my god, I'm going to have to go all the way down that pit and kill the buggers, aren't I? So they had the last laugh there. And I noticed during the course of a different one, the Minotaur one, which has quite a number of undead in there, in one little section, that the staff bludgeoning damage is great for bypassing the undead damage reduction. They don't get damage reduction against that, and I think that's the first time I've seen that. So that must be the first time I've run with a bludgeon weapon in like forever. So that was really nice. Normally with skeletons and things, you're chipping away at them either as a caster or because they get reduction versus spells as well, don't they? So I was more than happy at that. Damage in general is more than acceptable. As I said, I think we're doing in the mid-teens on a normal strike. I'm keeping throwing this fire thing in just for a little bit of bonus damage. And then we've got this quick strike now from our enhancements. It deals a hefty hit on its own, but then you get 25. I'm presuming that just means a straight 25 bonus to double strike for 10 seconds, which is really nice. Let's just show you the enhancements. So it's all in Henshin at the moment, just that one in Asimar because we've got one by default and one in Falconry for the same reason. He has a universal point. So the first core, we've got this one here, Way of the Patient taught us. So concentration skill, as I've just discussed, is important to us, and hit points as well are important to us. So that seemed like a good way to go on that. We've got the one attack and damage with quarter staves and also this quick strike which you've just seen. So we can more or less have that on all the time if I am wide awake over it. It's got a 12-second cooldown, lasts for 10 seconds. So provided I remember to keep throwing it in there, we've got a really nice bonus going there for double strike. Further down the road we can continue with another extra damage there and extra damage here. And I'm looking forward to testing out this Kobold ability. Force and fire, scaling with 3 times melee power. What's this? The target also gains a stack of weakened will, feeble fortitude and reduced reflexes. Alright. And it's like a ray spell. Well, I'm down for experimenting with it. Okay, I think that's about all for the waffle. So, I'm not going to do the Butcher's Path as promised, because we did that last time around. I'm sure we could go in there and annihilate everything with the fire dragon thing, if we so wished, until a Reaper popped up to ruin our day. But I'm going to try and experiment with some of these other cookies and also show what we can do with the normal build as well. Now if a Reaper comes along, I think I might either the Shard Storm or the Blade Barrier I might go with, because to get close to a Reaper as I've already seen, is to tempt fate seriously at this level. So heroism, blur, first time use for this Spider Queen cookie. I'm gonna cast our, how long does that last? Oh, the spider thing lasts only a minute. Okay, so I'll put that back where the owlbear thing was and just hit it when we face a boss or a reaper or something. I didn't know that. It said caster level 10, so I thought it was gonna be longer than that. That's the only drawback with all these clickables. There is a 6-second cooldown in between them all, but they do give a nice extra layer of defense at this lower level. We've gone up from, I think, below 30 to 36 now armor class, because the mage armor and the shield is stacking, and you can see at the bottom there 78% defense chance at level. So our armor class, for the first time in maybe forever, is actually a bit of a factor here. Oh, last thing to mention, we did gain this meditation thing at level 2. Regenerate ki at a faster rate. Now, the one time I tried it, he just sat down and there's like a bar comes, like when you're resting at a rest shrine. I don't know if you have to complete that, and I'm not going to try it now because all our buffs are running, but I don't know if you... I never got to complete it because there was a few opponents after me. So throwing the quick strike in straight away. Every time the fire... Oh, see, we've already taken some damage there. Not great. Every time the fire key attack is off cooldown, I'll throw it in and try and show you the special thing there. There we go. Oh, it didn't do badly. So that's a nice little AoE fire attack that you can trigger. So the idea is you hit 3 times with your standard fires of purity, and then you get the option for the fire attack. But it's got to be 3 times in reasonably quick succession. You can't sort of keep it, and once the attack is available to use, you can't just keep it hanging around for, you know, like a minute until you get to the next group of opponents. If it's like use it or lose it. That's, oh no, like not light armor, no. There's no Reaper bonus there, is there? Okay. So, potions for healing in between times. We've got the hands and this vigor cookie, which I haven't yet tried. If we get into a scrape, I'll trigger that as well. Or knowing me, I'll forget.
You hear a mechanism sliding open in the distance.
Okay, let's trigger the boost because we're in a bit of trouble here, aren't we? This would be a great spot for one of those cookies, but I want to try and show you that we can do it without. We've got the fire thing active. You see now the fire thing's active. We just about triggered it in time. I would have lost it if we'd have tried to go on. I would have loved to trigger it through this door. In fact, what the hell? Let's have some fun. I like it. Oh, we missed the big guy. I thought he'd kind of sneaked out of the way, the bugger. But that shows you we're more than capable of handling him anyway. I'm on the lookout for a concentration item among other things. And I don't think we have any of the nice stuff that we'd like at the moment. It's mostly caster sort of gear that I have. We want like deadly and seeker and all that kind of stuff for this build, don't we? So at level 3 I'm going to have a serious look, see what we have that might help.
The door is locked tight and can only be opened when the room
Oh, I missed with the quick strike. So you have to hit with the quick strike for it to take effect by the looks of it. That's it. Have some quick strike. Speaking of quick strike, is there any way to get haste on this? I guess some investment into Vistani might get us a haste boost, might it? Another button to click, but I would imagine haste boost would be pretty good on this. Oh, all the buffs have run out. Yeah, as the quests get a bit longer, I think the novelty is going to wear off clicking all this stuff, but if it keeps us alive for a little bit, I'm not going to complain. The blur is especially good from that cookie, because that lasts for, I think, 10 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? 9 minutes for some reason. Yeah, you see the double strike going in there. I think that's going to be a really nice... And again there, double strike. Burn, burn, yes! We love it. I tell you what, I can't wait for this... is it incineration or something that I've seen in the tree much further down the road? I'm definitely down for some incineration action, especially after the life that we've just had with the favoured soul. That was more than more than satisfying, crispifying everything in the way. Right, now we definitely could do with our beefy cookie thing here, couldn't we? Blessing of Lolth. Okay, let's get the Hood of Unrest up for some extra dodge bonus. Oh, Mr. Reaper. Blade Barrier. Which one is it? Don't kill us, you bugger. Get in that Blade Barrier. Thank you. Yes, we cheated, but what was it, a plague? I think, yeah, I think that probably avoided a death, because plagues at this level. Ugh. What would I have done normally? I think I would have just succumbed, because I don't have anything strong enough to just hammer a Reaper. So I think we kind of had. I mean, that's the a really nice illustration of the use of those overpowered cookies at the low levels. To reiterate, it's overpowered because it's cast to level 15, but very quickly, like let's say by certainly by halfway through the heroic leveling, most, if not all of them, are not particularly useful anymore, because you've got abilities yourself that can pretty clearly outstrip anything they can do. But it's just a fun little way to give a bit of variety and a little bit of a leg up in some cases to the lower levels. I didn't take the opportunity to show you the flashbang and the blinding thing, so that those will be for another episode. All in all, I think we're in a pretty good place. I'm happy with what I've learned, and with the strike through thing we've got going on. You'll have to wait and see what we've got planned at level 3 to to avoid the weapon damage. I guess one of you knows already because it was your suggestion, but that's coming up in the next one. I've just started actually these level 2s in the harbour, so I'll be going on to do most of those. I've already done my favourite level 1, the box quest down there. And after that there'll be the 2 in the marketplace, the level 2s. And what do we do then? I think it's on into the catacombs. Now the catacombs is normally like a proper for me, but with this staff, I have a good feeling about that against the undead. I just think we could do okay. Fire attacks ought to do quite nicely against them. With this double strike thing's clearly doing some decent stuff for us. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic until the next big mistake. Right, I think that's about it for this one. Thank you very much as always for looking. Hope you're all having a good day, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.